All right, let's check out today's math. The first question says we want to write each number in standard form, which is the normal number form, and it's going to give us some hints about the different values in our number. So in the first question, we have 100 and just 1. So I'm actually going to use virtual manipulative or a help thing that is in your Google Classroom. The first one I'm going to use is this one here. If I click on virtual manipulatives, it's going to take me to this page with all these different math manipulatives. It's pretty cool. I'm going to scroll down and choose place value chart. In here, now I can make the numbers based on what values each number is worth. So the question said, if we go back to it, it said 100 and 1. So let's put that in our place value chart. 1 in the hundreds and 1 in the ones. And I love how as soon as I put 1 in the hundreds, it automatically filled zeros across the board. Now, if I add a 1 to the 1, this 0 is still really important because if I didn't have this 0, my number would just be 11. And if you owed me $101 and gave me 11, I'd be a little upset. So I want to make sure I have the full value, 101. So that's what I'm going to go put in that spot. Right here, 101. So you can do the rest of those questions like that. For number 2, I want to model 501 using base 10 blocks. So I'm actually going to use this other manipulative called base 10 blocks. And if I click on that, I get this. And I can pull these manipulatives down and create models of numbers. So the number I want to model is 501. So that's 5 hundreds, 0 tens, right? There's a 0 in the tens column and 1 in the ones column. So let's check that out. I'm going to model it like this. Here's my hundreds. 1, 2, 3. Spread it out a little bit. 4, 5, and a 1. So that's one way I could model 501. And once I've got that figured out, I can come here and I can draw it. I'm just going to draw it by adding some shapes. I think this will work. 1, 2, 3. Remember, our hundreds are kind of our bigger squares. Our tens, we show those by kind of skinny rectangles. And our ones, we use little squares. So I like that. 501. I can see that. Now, if you're going to write expanded form, it just wants to know how many hundreds, how many tens, and how many ones. So let's pop that in. It's going to be 5 hundreds. It's going to be 0. Let's see if I can make a 0. 0 tens and 1. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for that question. As we go over to the next page, it says make another number using 6 base 10 blocks and then sketch your model. So for these next questions, I can go back to the base 10. It wants me to use 6 base 10 blocks. I'm just going to clear my board. How do I do that? Start over. I can pick any 6 that I want. So 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks I've used. There's 5 and there's 6. So what did I do? I've made 100. I've got 3 tens and 2 ones. So if I go back here, I'm going to draw what I made. I've got 100. Like I said, I'm going to use the line here. 1, 2, 3 tens and 2 ones. Just gonna make 2 little squares here. 1, 2. It says write the standard form. Standard form is our normal number form. I've got 100. I've got 3 tens and I've got 2 ones. I like it. And the expanded form. I can write the expanded form using words, or I can use it using just numbers. And I'm just going to show you how to make it using just numbers. In expanded form, you want to address each digit. So the first digit is 1 and it's worth 100. The second digit is a 3 in the tens column, so it's worth 3 tens. 10, 20, 30. And the fourth digit is a 2 in the ones column, so it's simply worth 2. And that is the expanded form, 100 plus 30 plus 2. Okay, the next question is the exact same. And the next question says, use 15 blocks to model your number from part B. So that's a little trickier. In part B, it asks you to use 6 blocks to model a number greater than 6. And in the next one, it wants you to use 15 blocks to model that same number. Question 4, write a number that fits the clue, and you can model it. So it says, model it with base 10 blocks in 2 ways. So what would be a little more than 100? So a number that's a little more than 100. Well, I'm going to say a number that's a little more than 100. I'm going to say 101. I'm going to model it like that. So 101 is a little more than 100. Now it wants me to model it a second way. So this way I modeled it with a hundreds block and a ones block, but it wants me to model it in 2 ways. So the other way I'm going to model this is by making 10 tens, because 10 tens is the same as 100. So that's 5 or 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Let's make that longer. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and then I still need 1. So this is 2 different ways to model the same number. The next one, I want you to pick a number around 200. And the next one, it says a number that's more than 51, but less than 82. So somewhere in between 51 and 82. Finally, it wants me to draw a line to match each clue with a number. So here it says the tens digit is 0. So I'm going to look at the numbers over on the side. I'm looking in the tens column, and there's my answer. 203 has a 0 in the tens column, and I can just match it with a line. For number 6, it says make up a number clue, or make up a number for each clue. So here it says the tens digit is greater than the ones digit or the hundreds digit. So I just need my tens digit to be my biggest number. So I'm going to make my number 536. So my tens digit, oh, and oops, I made a mistake. My tens digit needs to be greater. So let's switch that 3 and make it a 9. And now my tens digit is bigger than my hundreds and ones. All right. Well, pick a number. That 10 blocks are needed to model the number. I could go back and use 10 blocks and figure out what number I could make. Put that in the answer. This next question says the hundreds digit is 8. And finally, the ones digit is the smallest it can be. It's the smallest number you could put in any place of a number. Okay, if you have questions after watching the video for your question that you were stuck on, put your hand up, let me know, and hope you have fun in math today.